We often think of meaning as, well, pretty straightforward, right? A word points to a thing, a symbol means an idea. Simple.
Yeah, sort of static connection.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But what if that's really just scratching the surface? What if meaning is more like a living, breathing, five-dimensional dance that's constantly shaping our reality?
Hmm.
Today, we're going to dive into a concept that tries to map this out, the penta-semionic resonance field. Now, I know it sounds like a mouthful,
That does sound a bit intimidating, yeah.
but our mission here is to unpack it, make its pretty profound implications clear, and maybe see how it changes how you experience meaning, like moment to moment.
Absolutely.
Even for those of us who, spend a lot of time thinking about meaning, this penta-semionic resonance field idea,
Mm.
it feels genuinely new. It's like finding a whole new layer on a map you thought you knew.
Mm-hmm.
We're drawing on a couple of key sources here, a detailed phenomenological analysis and a pretty thorough working outline of the concept. It's complex, no doubt, but we're going to try and walk through it together.
And that term, phenomenological analysis, it might sound academic, but the core idea is actually quite grounded.
Right.
We're not just talking abstract definitions. We're looking at how this five-fold field actually shows up, how it operates in your everyday experience.
How you actually feel meaning happening.
Exactly. How do you right now kind of instinctively build and interpret meaning? It's less about what meaning is in theory and much more about how you live it. This deep dive is really about understanding this structured space where five interconnected dimensions interact, they vibrate together to generate that lived meaning.
Okay, so let's unpack the name itself. Penta-semionic resonance field. Each word is doing some heavy lifting here. First, penta, that obviously points to five, right?
Yeah.
A five-fold structure, five-core relationship.
Five key aspects, yeah.
Then semiotic. Now, this comes from semion, which isn't just any sign. It's like the most basic unit, the smallest possible carrier of meaning.
That's right. Think of it as the absolute seed of significance before it even becomes a full word or a recognized symbol, the very spark.
Okay, spark. I like that. Next, resonance. Now, when I hear that, I think music, maybe physics, like a tuning fork.
Sure.
But how is this co-vibration for meaning different from just, say, a link or a connection? Can you give us maybe a different kind of image for that buzzing feel?
That's a really good point because it is much more than a simple link. Okay, imagine maybe ripples on a pond when you throw in five pebbles at once.
Okay.
They don't just create separate circles. The waves interact, they interfere, they amplify each other in complex patterns. That's closer to this idea of resonance. It's a dynamic co-vibration, a mutual amplification of meaning signals. It's active. It's alive.
Got it. Not just lines connecting dots, but interacting waves.
Precisely. And finally, field. This is crucial. It's not a single point, not a thing you can isolate.
It's distributed, it's relational, like a magnetic field. You can't see it, but its influence is everywhere within its domain. This meaning field is sort of all around us, shaping every interaction.
Okay, so putting it all together, penta-semionic resonance field.
Yeah.
What's the core idea from the sources?
The core hypothesis is that this penta-semionic resonance field describes this structured space where these five interdependent dimensions are constantly co-vibrating. And it's this dynamic interplay, this resonance that produces emergent patterns of meaning.
Emergent meaning.
Yeah.
Meaning that's more than just adding up the parts.
Exactly. It goes beyond simple linear connections like A leads to B or even binary oppositions. This is where meaning gets its richness, its depth, its aliveness.
So the immediate takeaway for you, the listener, is what? That meaning isn't something you just passively receive.
Precisely. It suggests meaning isn't just found or decoded. It's actively co-created in every single interaction. You're not just a receiver, you're a participant in its ongoing emergence.
Wow. Okay, think about the implications for communication, art, even just understanding each other. If we really grasp that, it feels much more dynamic.
And that richness, that dynamism, is right there in how we actually experience it. Phenomenologically, it's not just an abstract concept, it's lived. We tend to experience it as a whole field of sense, rather than picking out individual separate signs.
A field of sense.
Yeah.
Like walking into a room and just getting the vibe.
Sort of, yeah, like that bustling market example. You don't consciously register every single sight and sound separately, at least not initially. You grasp the whole atmosphere, the sense of the place, all at once. It's this web of simultaneous meanings weaving together.
Okay, that idea of a field of sense is, well, it's a big shift from thinking about isolated words or symbols. But if it's a field, how do we fit in? How does our own intention shape it?
That brings us to what the sources call the intentional structure. The idea is that we, as subjects, as conscious beings, don't just bump into isolated signs floating around. We actually experience the resonance of these 5 axes of meaning all at once.
And they lean into each other. What does that mean?
It means they influence each other constantly. They pull and push. This interaction creates both the moments of clarity where everything clicks, but also those moments of ambiguity or richness where there's more than one meaning present. It's like a complex chord in music. Again, the notes blend, creating a single impression, but also containing tensions and harmonies within it.
Right. And the sources talk about different ways this meaning is present, different modes.
Yes, they identify 3 key modes of presence. First, there's immediate presence. That's the intuitive flash, the instantaneous getting it. You just grasp multiple layers of meaning simultaneously.
Like getting a joke instantly.
Exactly. Then there's deferred presence. These are the meanings that aren't obvious up front. They're latent, hidden layers that might surface later, maybe after you reflect or learn something new. The meaning unfolds over time. And then, perhaps the most interesting one, excess presence. This is that definite feeling that there's more meaning there than you can currently grasp or put into words.
Like when a piece of music or art deeply moves you, but you can't quite explain why.
Precisely. It's that sense of depth, of something resonant just beyond your conscious articulation, a haunting quality almost.
And this isn't just purely mental, is it? There's an embodied experience mentioned.
Yes, absolutely. The resonance isn't just an idea, it can be felt, maybe as a kind of tension, a vibration, a rhythm in your thinking.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Like when you're wrestling with a tough problem and you feel that sort of mental buzz or even slight discomfort until it clicks.
That's it. That click or the aha moment. That's often the feeling of the field finding a kind of harmonic resonance, even if just temporarily.
And the fivefold nature, it suggests balance, like a pentagram maybe?
It can evoke that sense of balance or structure, yes. But what's really crucial is that it's not a closed system. It's always open-ended, always ready for new meanings to bubble up, to shift, to evolve.
Okay, so let's get into the nuts and bolts. What are these 5 axes, the structural components?
Right. These are the 5 dimensions that are constantly interacting, co-vibrating within this field. Understanding each one helps see how the whole thing works.
Lead the way. Axis 1.
Axis I referential. This is probably the one we're most familiar with. It's the sign-object link.
The pointing function.
Exactly. Grounding the sign in what it refers to out there in the world. The word cat points to the furry thing purring on the mat. Direct link to reality.
Simple enough. Axis 2.
Axis 2, relational. This is sign I. It's about how signs connect to other signs within the whole meaning network.
Ah, so cat relates to mouse, milk, purr, domesticated, maybe even lion.
Precisely. It's the web of associations, the semantic neighborhood, if you like.
Got it. Axis 3.
Axis the third, interpretive. This is science subject, crucial one. This focuses on how meaning is actively shaped, filtered, and understood by your own consciousness.
So my personal experience with cats, maybe I love them, maybe I'm allergic, that shapes how I interpret the sign cat.
Exactly. Your memories, emotions, beliefs, they all color the meaning. It's your subjective take.
Okay. Axis 4.
Axis 4, contextual. This is sign E world. This highlights how meaning is embedded in its wider environment, sociocultural, historical, even ecological context. The world around the sign.
Right, so a cat in an ancient Egyptian tomb painting means something very different from a cat in a modern internet meme.
Perfect example. The context transforms the meaning even if the referential object is similar.
And the 5th one, the intriguing one.
Axis V generative, or sign ek potential. This is about the sign's capacity to spark something new, excess meaning, creativity, the birth of entirely novel significations.
Where new ideas come from.
Yes, it's how signs push beyond their established meanings, where metaphors are born, where unexpected connections are made. It's the spark of novelty emerging from the field.
Okay, wow. 5 axes. Let's try that analogy again to make sure we've got it. The word bridge.
Go for it.
Axis I, referential.
Yeah.
The actual thing made of steel or stone crossing a river. Axis C, relational. How bridge connects to river, crossing, gap, engineer, toll.
Yep, the network.
Axis third, interpretive. My personal memory of, say, the Brooklyn Bridge, or maybe a fear of heights on bridges. My feeling.
Your subjective layer, right?
Axis 6, contextual. Bridge in an engineering plan versus building bridges in diplomacy versus maybe the bridge in a horror story.
The surrounding world, absolutely.
And Axis V, generative. That flash of insight where someone uses bridge metaphorically in a totally new way, like bridging quantum physics and consciousness, or a piece of music that bridges two genres, the unexpected leap.
You've got it. That's the interplay.
So how do these axes actually generate meaning together? The sources talk about resonance dynamics.
That's right. It's not static, it's dynamic. One key dynamic is harmonic amplification.
Sounds good.
It is. This happens when all 5 axes align and reinforce each other. They resonate strongly together like a perfectly tuned chord.
And that leads to
Clear, powerful, coherent meaning. Think of a really effective advertisement or a perfectly told story where everything just works together, the words, the images, the context, your interpretation, maybe even a new idea sparked. That's harmonic amplification.
Okay, but what about when things don't align? You mentioned ripples interfering on the pond earlier.
Exactly. That leads to the opposite, interference patterns. When the axes are misaligned, pulling in different directions, it creates ambiguity, paradox, maybe confusion, what the sources call semiotic noise.
Like a badly translated phrase or a sarcastic comment that falls flat.
Perfect examples. Sarcasm is a great one. The literal meaning, referential, axis this is one thing, but the tone and context, interpretive, axis the third, contextual, axis the third, say the complete opposite. That clash is an interference pattern. It creates noise, makes the meaning unstable or ambiguous.
Or maybe cultural misunderstandings. A gesture means something different.
Absolutely. The gesture sign has one set of relations, axis 2 and interpretations, axis third in one context, axis 3, but completely different ones in another. Big interference pattern.
So meaning isn't fixed. It's constantly being shaped by these dynamics.
That's the core idea, emergent phenomena. Meanings aren't static things stored in a dictionary. They are constantly re-emerging, shifting, transforming through this dynamic interplay of the 5 axes. It's a living system.
So the big so what here is, meaning isn't just passively received. It's not just out there.
Right. It's being actively made, co-created in this vibrant, dynamic, 5-dimensional field, moment by moment. And you, the listener, you're right in the middle of it, participating in that creation.
Which leads to some pretty deep implications about reality itself, doesn't it? The ontological implications.
It really does. First, it suggests a field reality. Meaning doesn't fundamentally exist in isolated things or words, but as these fields of relational resonance. Objects and signs are nodes in a vibrating web. Their meaning comes from the web, the resonance.
Things aren't just things. They're points of resonance.
You could put it that way, yeah. Second, there's the phenomenological horizon. This is the idea that we aren't outside observers looking at the field.
We're in it.
We're in it. Like fish in water, we're immersed. Our consciousness, our ability to understand, doesn't just perceive the field, it actually co-arises with it. Our awareness is part of the resonance itself.
Wow. So my mind isn't separate from the meaning field. It's part of its unfolding.
That's the implication. And third, temporal flow. This resonance isn't static. It's a process unfolding through time. Meanings aren't fixed points. They shift, they can decay, they can be forgotten, revived, or morph into something completely new as the field evolves over time.
Like how the meaning of certain words changes drastically over generation.
Exactly. It's the field evolving, the resonance shifting.
Okay, this is fascinating, but also kind of abstract. Where could this thinking actually be applied? The sources mentioned some areas.
They do. Several interesting applications and explorations. In semiotics itself, obviously, it offers a much richer way to map complex layers of meaning, moving way beyond the simpler models we often use.
Right, beyond just signify or signified.
Way beyond. Then in cognitive science, think about how quickly we process complex social cues, a subtle expression, a tone of voice.
Yeah, it's almost instantaneous.
This framework suggests we're not doing it step by step, but processing all 5 axes of meaning simultaneously, resonating together. It could offer a more holistic model for how our brains handle that complexity, especially in real time.
That makes sense. What else?
Philosophy of language, naturally. It provides a new lens, a richer vocabulary to talk about how language actually generates meaning, moving past some long-standing, maybe simpler models.
Okay, and even systems design. How would that work?
Well, imagine designing AI or complex communication systems. If you could build systems that are sensitive to these 5 axes and their resonance, not just literal meaning.
You could get much more nuanced AI. AI that understands context, subtext, maybe even creative potential.
Potentially, yes. AI that interacts in a way that feels more aligned with how humans actually experience meaning.
And there was one more, slightly unexpected one, mystical or esoteric thought.
Yes, the source notes mention using it as a framework for understanding what they call pentatic resonance fields as symbolic cosmograms.
Symbolic maps of the cosmos based on 5-fold resonance?
Kind of. Linking this modern semiotic idea back to older wisdom traditions that often saw reality as interconnected, vibrating patterns. It suggests a potential bridge, perhaps.
Interesting. A convergence of ancient intuition and modern analysis.
Perhaps. Ultimately, though, the main push of this framework is to get us thinking more holistically, more dynamically about meaning, recognizing it not as a fixed thing, but as this living, breathing process we're all part of.
So there we have it. A journey through the penta-semionic resonance field. We went from breaking down the name to seeing how it appears in experience to exploring the five axes and how they dance together through resonance. It really paints a picture of meaning as this vibrant five-dimensional interplay, doesn't it? Much more than just word equals object. It's about seeing the vibration of significance in everything and knowing you're part of that co-creation.
And as you go about your day, maybe mull this over. Are these five axes real fundamental structures of meaning itself, ontological universals, always there?
Oh,
Or are they more like constructed frameworks, useful tools that we use to try and make sense of the incredibly complex flow of meaning? And what if that word resonance? What if it's not just a metaphor?
you mean a literal vibration?
What if it implied a literal, perhaps metaphysical vibration, an actual energetic quality to meaning? It suggests that the very fabric of how we understand our world might be far more alive, more